Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Watch It Played Q&A. My name is Matthew, and together with a bunch of your help, let's endeavour to answer all of the internet's burning board game questions. I've got some questions. Do we have answers? I hope so, otherwise the rest of this video will be, frankly, bizarre. The first one is, and it's pointed right at me and Paula, who also is on Watch It Played. It says, I saw you and Paula were at Mega XP. What is Mega XP? Valid question. I'll answer it. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Mega XP is a board game convention, unsurprisingly, in Mexico City, which I think that's what it means. Mega XP, I did learn this. There's some acronym in there which means Mexico Games Expo. In fact, that's what it is. Solved! Can you tell I do the Wordle every day? I can solve these things in my sleep. But yeah, it's a board game convention that is in Mexico City. It's put on primarily by Devere Games and a few other publishers. And turns out, I did not know this, Devere Games is the Asmodee of Mexico. So me and Paula were super excited about the idea of going to Mexico, because I've never been to Mexico, and I really wanted to go. And I'll tell you what, I really want to go again to Mexico, just to Mexico. So we went to Mega XP Con together. I did get horrendously ill while in Mexico, which was fun for everyone involved. But I pushed through, I made it to the convention. I did faint at the convention, just a little bit. Not proud of it. What I was most surprised about with Mega XP is that it had everything. It's the biggest convention in Latin America. That's what they say, which I'm sure is true. I believe them for saying it. And it had everything. There was loads of board game shops there, as in like stores to buy games. There was a cosplay place. There was like a little miniature Ren Fair thing going on. There was huge amounts of Pokemon and Magic the Gathering tournaments. Loads of Lorcana, Ravensburger were there. There was just everything that you could hope for at a convention. My favourite part of it was kind of like the alleyway of games. It wasn't an alleyway, it was like an area of the convention that was all to do with Mexican publishers showing off their games. And I tell you what, I spent most of my time there because I demoed so many Mexican games there, because from what I understand, what we were told is that Mexico is a burgeoning board game market. It's like a newer board game. I mean, people have been playing games in Mexico forever, but as far as hobby board games goes, it's a slightly newer market. And there were so many cool games there that people had come up with and were trying to make and pushing for, like Kickstarters and all that type of thing. And there was just a level of innovation there which I was really excited about. It's like, oh, that's really cool, I've not seen that before. Or that theme is really interesting, I've not seen that before. There was one game that me and Paula played, and it was my favourite game of the convention, and it was a game called Pits, which is based off the Mesoamerican basketball sacrifice ritual game, which we all see, which I obviously don't know much about, but it's this abstract strategy sports game. And that game was absolutely fantastic. And that is going to Kickstarter at some point. And I'm like, when? I want this game. It was really good. Just the exact type of thing I enjoy, frankly. The one thing Mega XP didn't have this year, which I'd like to see more of next year, is more open gaming space. But that would be my only knock on the entire convention. It ran so smoothly. Everyone was nice. Everyone I met in Mexico was nice, including the doctor I had to see. It was brilliant. So that's what Mega XP was. Me and Paul had a great time, and hopefully it won't be our last time there. Did you go? Have you been to any conventions that weren't from your home country? What were they? Let me know below, because I tell you what, I had a great time in Mexico. But before we get on with the next question, here's a Canadian man.
If you want an insert for your game that's affordable, lightweight, beautiful, and will make the setup and play of your game faster, have I got something for you. The fine folks at Folded Space have an entire line of custom inserts, but let me give you a quick example with this new one they have for Cascadia. This is an officially licensed product that will store both the base game and Landmark's expansion in the original box, designed so you can pull the contents straight from the box and be ready to play in moments. Not only that, Folded Space has made a big visual update with this set, putting beautiful imagery on the different pieces so the insert complements your play area during the game. Perhaps even better, you'll find icons within the different sections of the insert to remind you of where the pieces go, which is a great extra feature. When you're ready to put things away, everything goes back inside along with the rule books, allowing everything to fit snugly inside the box, keeping the components in place for both horizontal and vertical storage. The entire product is packaged as 3 boards that punch out easily to ensure there's no damage to the edges. You then assemble the pieces using the Clear to Follow guide. All you need is a bit of PVA glue and you'll have it put together in no time. And because it's made of quality material, it will stand up to wear and tear. And being thrown around the room, apparently. And this is just one of their inserts. They have over 170 more, with new ones being added all the time. If you like what you see, do go to foldedspace.net, which is also linked in the description of this video. Grab an insert for one or more of your favorite titles directly, or in the US, you'll also find them at Miniature Market and at Board Game Bliss in Canada.
Question 2 this month is, how important is innovation really? Wow. You know, when you pull it like that, good point. Right? Fair. I don't need a game to be innovative to be good. You know, it's like food. Here's 6 ingredients that I enjoy in a different order. Yeah, sounds great. I'll eat that. I'll have one of those. It's kind of like what board games is like. Here's 3 or 4 things that you already like. They're in a slightly different order, not really doing anything new, but they do it in a good way. Cool. Is it innovative? No. But there is a thing with innovation in games, is that it adds a new ingredient. It invents something new to put into all the things I already like. It's like, I've never heard of this seasoning. Now I eat it on everything because it's this new thing and I can add it to all the things I already like, and it improves, enhances, makes them interesting. That's exciting. I mean, I think about innovation in games, and I think one of the greatest examples is deck building. There were a lot of board games before deck building came around, and then Dominion happened, and that was a truly innovative moment. No one knew what deck building was. It literally hadn't been invented. And now I think about all the games that I enjoy that in some way happen to have deck building in. There's so many games that I love that just also happen to have a bit of deck building in. But before deck building existed, none of those games could possibly be realized because the deck building bit hadn't been invented. I think innovation is also important when you kind of like sidestep the idea of mechanisms and move into theme. Because sometimes we get a bit burnt out on board game themes. There's a lot of little cute animal critter games. And I like those, but I don't necessarily need any more in my life. I mean, of course I do. I love cute animal critters. Almost everybody does. That's why they exist. It's so great when there's an innovative theme, because sometimes a game that I'm not that interested in mechanically gets redone in a new theme, and I'm like, oh, now I'm really interested in this game. And is that fair? Probably not. But is it true? Absolutely. But I mean, that's not all right with innovation, because you can have innovation in so many different things, right? I've wrote a little list actually: components, inserts, apps, materials. These all push things forward, you know? The business model of the game can push things forward. This is innovative. Kickstarter was hugely innovative at the time. You know, the P500 that GMT Games does, that's like an innovative idea that other companies kind of do now. The marketing for a game can be innovative, and that really pushes things forward. Is, you know, people go, oh, this is cool, what's this about? So I think innovation is super important in board games to keep the hobby alive, to keep things moving forward, while also not being necessary in the slightest to make a game enjoyable. I don't need a game to be innovative at all. What do you think? Do you think innovation is important? Not important? Are you drawn to the innovative regardless of anything else? Or would you just rather stay with the things that you know? And also, what is the most innovative thing that you've seen in a game recently? Because sometimes things are so innovative that they just pass everyone by and no one realizes they even happened. And the final question we have this month is, what are the games you think you should start a collection with? Right, I'll just caveat this right away with, it's subjective, you know? I mean, I'm not going to say Quest for El Dorado should be one of the first 10 games that everyone buys if I know that you don't like race games or deck builders or the concept of El Dorado itself, you know? Then probably not for you. I mean, I also think you should probably, I mean, It's great, right? It's really good. I think if you start in the board game collection, rather than just watching top 10s and buying what everyone else says is fantastic, I think you should go out, endeavor to just try to play as many games as possible, get on Board Game Arena, go to board game clubs, cafes, all that type of stuff. And the best thing you can do is play as many games as possible, then just purchase the ones that you really loved. But we aren't going to do that, are we? Because that's not how the hobby works, and you're going to buy a bunch of stuff. One thing I think is a surefire way to find some gems of games to start a collection with is something that not a lot of people do, which I've spoke about before. Go to Board Game Geek and organize the games by number of votes rather than the rank of the game. Those are pretty safe bets if they also look fun to you. Go through the list, pick the themes that you find interesting and a few things that you know about the game, and just go, that one looks cool, that one looks cool. I'm not into space or something, or I'm not into Vikings. I don't know. What do Vikings ever do to you? Pick the games that look interesting to you and then get them. And those are the games that are normally also in print, you know, those type of things. I have come up with a list of the 10 games I think I would start a collection with, 10 games that I would recommend to pretty much anyone if I didn't know anything about them other than the fact that they wanted some games. I've tried to pick 10 games that are in print and aren't super expensive as well, and they're probably on the lighter side of board games. First up, we have No Thanks, which is the incredible game of bidding to not take cards and then trying to grab cards to lower the points on the cards that you took because you bid wrong. It's a gem. It's fantastic. It's one of my all-time favorites. Then we've got Ticket to Ride, because you can't go wrong with Ticket to Ride, in my opinion. I still love Ticket to Ride. In fact, my love for that game has only ever grown. Then we've got Seven Wonders Duel, which is one of the most perfect two-player back and forth card games ever made, I think. There's a new one which is going to be Lord of the Rings themed. Did you like Lord of the Rings? There you go. The Quest for El Dorado, I already mentioned. Gosh dang, that game is fun. It's so slick. A race game, a deck building race game. It's fantastic. Next up, I chose Cities, which is a new game, just came out. It was out at Mega XP, which was why I was thinking about it. It's a really slick design. I think it's wonderful. And Cosmos are bringing it to the UK, I think. It's a Cosmos De Via title. Trio is a fantastic light card game of Go Fish and Memory, which sounds like anything I wouldn't enjoy, but it's just fantastic. I don't know how they did that. My City Roll and Build is, I would give people this game. This one I picked because not only is it a fantastic game, but it's a taste, just a taste of legacy games. And they might go, what the hell is this? What is this whole thing? Do other games do this? And then I would say, hold on to your hat, bucko. Yes, other games do this. I think that would be a great game to have to start a collection. And another game similar to that as a campaign kind of evolving game is Welcome to the Moon. I'm a new convert to Welcome to the Moon. I can't stop thinking about it and talking about it. I just finished playing through the whole thing once, and then you go back and you play through the whole thing again. And there's loads of other stuff. It's excellent. And the last two are Foodie Forest, which is kind of a trick-taking kind of game. It's a Reiner Knizia card game. I've just never had this game go wrong. It's hilarious fun. My version's older. It's called Too Many Cooks. But the Foodie Forest, it's anthropomorphic animals, like I said before, unsurprisingly. And then the final game is a game called Scram. Scram is also got a memory element, but it's a team-based game where you're trying to lower the value of the cards in your hand and then choose to go out so that your other team has a bunch of points left in their hand. It's just marvelous, and I love it. How about you? What are the games that you think everyone should start their collection with? That's when you put it like that, it's a bold statement, isn't it? And that's it for another month. Thank you so much for being here. I just appreciate you so much. If you have any questions or answers to any of the questions from this episode or for a future episode, let me know below and we'll endeavor to answer them together. Until then, everyone, be kind to yourself, be kind to someone else, and I'll see you next time. Bye.